Hi, I'm Gary White for Channel 6 Central Kentucky Television, and I'm here with Juanita Herring at the Marion County Extension Office. And today we're going to make a healthy meal for you. It's turkey barbecue, right?
That's right, Gary. And how are you this fine morning?
I'm very well. How about you?
I'm great.
We were just talking. We're recording this as it's nice weather outside.
Yes.
And we're enjoying that, right?
Yes, we're enjoying it. I think you and I have decided they can just keep this temperature for a while, right?
Exactly.
Last week about got us, right?
Yeah, that snow and ice can go away.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But a brand new month, we're starting it off pretty good, right?
That's right. That's wonderful. And every day we get closer to spring.
That's right. You know, the days are getting just a little bit longer, if you noticed. Yes, I do too.
Yes, I love that. Yeah. So, all right. So, on that note, as everything's going well, we're going to make a meal that is good for your heart, healthier for your heart than some other options.
Exactly. You know, February is Heart Month. It's designated as Heart Month. And
you have your red on.
I've got my red on. That's why I wore red today, because of heart. Now, you know, we always think about it is Heart Month, but, you know, of course, it's Valentine's. We're seeing all the heart-shaped candies and all of that. Now, you know, we all kind of like to eat a little bit of that. But February is designated as Heart Month. And, you know, we should think about our heart, not just February, right? We need to think about it all year long.
Exactly.
Yes.
Or else you won't have an opportunity to.
You got that right, Gary. Yes, it is.
So, okay, so it's Heart Health Month, and that's why we're going to use this turkey, because it's more lean, is that right?
Yes, we're going to use some ground turkey, and if people, I'm sure, are noticing that we're hearing more and more about using ground turkey. Ground turkey, if you'll look at it right here, it looks a lot like ground beef, right? Mm-hmm. It's not quite as red as ground beef, and I'm not knocking any of the farmers out there that's raising those beef cattle, but this is another option that we can. Right. That we can do, okay? To use this ground turkey, because it does not have as much fat in it. Mm-hmm. And the ground turkey is a lot like our ground beef when we're going to go get it. There's different percentages of lean and different percentages of the lean and the fat in it. And this one here today that you're going to see is 85-15. And if we were going to go to the grocery store to buy ground beef, we would do an 85-15 also. You know, so it's pretty much the same one, but this, you're going to notice, does not have hardly any fat in it at all.
Okay, cool. So we're going to be able to see that when we're doing our grilling, right? Exactly.
Exactly.
Now, when you get ground beef, what part of the cattle is that?
You kind of put me on the spot, Gary. It has different of it. Yeah, it's a little mixture of it, you know. They take that, but a lot of time, and they do have a lot of fat in them. Most of our ground beef that you're going to purchase, you're going to see is that extra lean, which is like, I think, 93% lean, 7% fat. The going is about, like I said, the 80-20 or 85-15 is the going. And then we can get down there to the 70, I think it's 73-27, you know, with the beef. And let me say on a note, you know, it goes with the price too. And our ground turkey went by price too. Okay. And if you're working on a budget, you know, we've got to get what our budget says we can do, right? Yeah. And when you're getting those, the ground beef or even the ground turkey, like I said, you're going to see it doesn't have much fat in it at all. But if you do the ground beef, you say, okay, I can't afford the 93.7. And, you know, if I was purchasing beef, I don't either. But if you do, a good way to do it, you can get that 93.7. Did you know you can make that ground beef into 93.7? Okay. What you can do, when you're going to brown your ground beef, like we're going to brown our ground turkey today, if you will take that and when you're draining all of that, the fat off, get you some good hot water running out of your tap and rinse that ground beef off, and you're taking away some of the fat. So, you know, we have to do these little tidbits that's going to help that person out. Right. You know.
Yes, because you have to take into consideration the cost as well as health factors.
And, you know, we're living in, here in Marion County, the United States, we like that fat taste in our mouth. That's what we like. And a lot of people, it's a good flavor. That's exactly right. And a lot of times when people say, well, you're rinsing all of the flavor out of it. but you're really not. We're just getting rid of that, some more of that fat. Okay.
Sounds good.
Yes.
Okay, so all that being said, we're going to make our turkey barbecue. It's going to be a little healthier option for us here. And what do we need for our turkey barbecue?
This is a very easy. You know, Gary, you know, we do a lot of things. It's kind of like got a one skillet or a one dish meal. You can kind of tell I like to do those things, right? And everybody is in a hurry getting home from work, schools, or whatever. And this is a good, healthy option that you can, and it's a meal that for your whole family. You cook everything in one skillet. Isn't that? That's my kind of
less cleaning.
Right? Yes. So today, I think I've got the wrong recipe over here. Gary, I'm so sorry.
That's all right. Here we have.
We're going to use 1 pound of our ground turkey, and I did purchase 85.15 today. Okay, it's what we did, and we're going to use, and it calls for a teaspoon of vegetable oil. So that's kind of almost. You know, we're doing both sides of our mouth, talking at both sides of our mouth here, right? But this is, you could use a teaspoon of the vegetable oil. It's just because we do not want it to stick because it doesn't have enough fat in it to almost cook itself. Okay. So you're going to see, but we're going to put very sparingly. And we have got 1 medium onion chopped. We're going to use a 1/2 cup of ketchup. We're going to use a 1/2 cup of water. We're going to use 2 tablespoons of vinegar. 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, 1 1/2 teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. That's just kind of a whole mouthful to say, right? And then we're going to use some whole wheat slider buns, okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to put it in our skillet. We're going to start, I'm going to, excuse me just a second, Gary, and I'm going to put my skillet over here, and I'm going to turn it on. And you can see we're using a skillet that's got the Teflon coating. So it says in a large skillet over medium heat, we're going to ground our turkey and our oil and our onion together, okay. For about 10 minutes. So I am going to put, it says 1 teaspoon. We're going to go by the recipe.
Okay.
Now, more than likely, if I was doing this without everybody seeing it, I'd probably just try it without a little bit of the oil. But I am going to do about 1 teaspoon. And you see, I'm not even, you know, it's just a very, and you can see that's a very small amount of oil, right?
And that's just to help with preventing it from sticking.
Yeah, we're going to kind of just slosh it around on our, so we're going to take our ground turkey. I was talking about that ground beef, and I've got it, and I'm just going to flop it.
There we go.
I'm going to put this.
You can hear it sizzling away there.
That's exactly right.
Now, you said on a medium heat.
Oh, medium, yes.
Okay, what, you started out, I think, at 300. Was that just to get it hot?
We have turned it down to about 250 here.
Okay. So medium heat kind of varies a little bit there sometimes.
Right. And you can see.
It's already turning brown.
It's already turning brown.
Okay. Now, how many people is this going to serve?
This will serve about 6 regular size hamburger buns, or it would serve about 12 sliders. So.
Okay. Well, 12 sliders, that's quite a bit.
That's quite a bit, yes, it is.
Okay. So a family of 4 could have 3 each.
There you go, Gary.
Now, this is kind of like salad. When eating a salad's always a good idea, but it's what you put on the salad that can turn into a bad idea.
That's exactly. And if you read it, note in our ingredients, we've got ground turkey, we've got some Worcestershire sauce, a small amount. We've got a small amount of each thing we've got is a small amount, right? So it's not going to be too bad. The serving size for one of our hamburger, not our little sliders, but our hamburger, it is 200 calories.
Okay.
So that's not bad, right?
Yeah, it just depends on what you put on that burger. Yeah. All right, so we're talking about putting stuff on there. You just have to be careful what you might put on a burger if you put anything on there.
Right. A lot of times people will put all kinds of ketchup, mayo. I mean, they're just loading it up, right?
That's right. And that's not necessarily going to keep it at that 200 calories.
Right. And then, when we are making anything. We can make something pretty healthy if we want to, if we watch.
And we can do the opposite too. We can make it pretty unhealthy.
Yes, like you said, Gary, you know, you were getting the, how many this would make. You know, if you sat and ate all 6 of them, even though they're only 200 calories, if you eat all 6 of them, it's not going to be good.
Right. It's 1,200 calories.
There you go.
Yeah. So we're cooking up the turkey, and we had a little bit of oil. It's not sticking to the pan, so it's easy to work with.
Do you see much oil in it?
No.
No, not at all. And that's what I said. You know, you can, if people are out buying turkey, you might can play around with it. A lot of times, I don't even put a little bit of oil. I even turn it on a smaller degree here to make sure that it's not going to stick.
Right.
But when you're cooking ground turkey or you're cooking any of our meat, we want to make sure that we cook it thoroughly.
Right.
Can't put a meat thermometer in this, right? But we know that when you can see it's pink and it's already turning the brown color, or it's, you know, a different color.
Right.
We just want to make sure that we are cooking it thoroughly.
Right.
You know, they keep talking about people getting sick, that maybe they get sick from the food. Maybe it's not cooked properly. Maybe it's not handled properly or stored properly. So, you know, we just want to make sure that we are doing the right thing.
Absolutely.
And go ahead.
So with the temperature wise, you can't use a thermometer, but what kind of temperature would something like this?
Okay. If you're doing any ground beef, like if we had made a patty out of this turkey, okay? Say we were going to make a turkey burger. We could insert our meat thermometer in that in the center. You never go down. You want to go to the side, and you want it to be cooked at least 165 degrees. Okay. Yes.
Okay. So if you were doing, like in the summer, if we were going to be grilling outside and we're making turkey burgers, that would be 165 degrees for that patty burger is what we
Yes. Or, you know, people say, I don't have a meat thermometer, I'm not going to. Make sure your juice in that is clear.
Right.
You know, when you're cooking, it, you know, it might have like a little red cast or something, but you want it clear.
Okay.
You know.
Yes. And that's a way to determine that it's actually cooked.
Exactly.
To the point you need it.
Because we sure do not want to make anybody sick. Now you can see we have just a tad of.
Yep, just a little bit of the juice there. Yep. And it's turning quite brown. We have just a few little pink pieces there.
And we don't want any of those pink pieces there.
That's right. And so it's going to be about 10 minutes is how long it takes.
It's about 10 minutes to do this. So we have got just about that. Now, like I said, if you did not want to put the oil in it, you know, it did have a little bit of fat in it. If you wanted to play with this at home, you would not have, you know, you could try it without it. But just be sure you turn it down on a very low temperature. You know, we were trying to get this to cook in about 10 minutes.
Right.
We're just about there, Gary, aren't we?
Okay. And the temperature we've had it is about 250 that we've been maintaining there for it.
I got my skillet good and hot. I think we had it on, what'd you say, 350? 300, 350?
Start.
We got the skillet good and hot. And you can see it breaks up very well.
Yep. And it's all brown.
It's all brown. That's exactly right, except I'm going to check that one right there. There's no way we could put a meat thermometer in this, Gary. So, but our juices are they running clear, Gary?
They are.
They're running clear.
Yep. Good job. Okay.
So, I'm going to reach over here. I'm going to get a bowl, and I'm going to drain this.
Okay.
Just, you know, we're making it as healthy as we can.
Right. There you go.
I'm going to let Gary hold that.
Do you want me to help with something?
If you want to hold that in.
Yep. I will hold this up there for you.
Got Gary in here cooking also.
Exactly. Getting the meat out of the pan.
Okay, we're going to turn all that oil right there. Thank you, Gary.
Okay, absolutely.
And we're going to plug our skillet back up.
Okay.
Gary's doing such a nice job. And
That's all you. Good training.
I know, Gary, me and you worked together a while. But I want the audience to see. I'm going to put that back in there, and I'm turning it on low. Okay.
Yep.
You got it on really warm?
Yes.
Okay. And all of that 1 pound of ground turkey,
And the oil.
there might be, what, a good tablespoon of oil, possibly?
Yeah.
So it's not much oil, right?
No.
So
It's good.
now I am going to add my onions, and I'm going to cook them just a little bit more, or you could cook these onions as you're cooking. Gary, I'm going to let you turn me back up just a little tad, please.
Okay. 200 good?
Yeah, about 2,
Okay.
So we're going to cook these onions just a tad.
Now, how much onion was that?
It called for a small onion. Now, you know you're going to the grocery store to get an onion, okay? Now, they'll say small, medium, okay. I mean, I think of a small onion about that size and a medium onion about like this, but you get it at the grocery store,
They're really big.
they're really big.
Yeah.
So I had to cut up one this morning, and we're not going to put the entire onion because I think it was a little bit
lot of onion.
bigger, yes. But now if you're an onion lover, it'd be great, right?
And that's something you customize, as we talk about with cooking. Just make it whatever fits your preference.
And I'm just going to cook these onions a little bit more with our ground turkey.
Now, to tell when an onion is cooked, is it translucent?
Yes,
Is that
it'd be translucent, yes. You know, you want it, you don't want it to burn, but you just, and you want kind of get that crunch out of it. So.
Okay. And that's adding a vegetable, right, to our...
Yeah, there you go, a vegetable, there you go. So, and I don't know how much scientific it is, but you know, they always tell us that onions and garlic is very good for us, right? To eat, and I love onion. You know, I like to eat a lot of onion.
Flavor.
It gives a lot of flavor. And another thing, you can add onions to different things and cut down some of that excess fat that's good for our heart. So there we go.
Yes, good option, that's right.
Yes. And you know, again, we have to do everything in moderation, right? Even if it is good for us, we still have to eat it, you know, cook it and make it and eat it in moderation.
Absolutely.
Okay, Gary, you've got me down on warm. Let's turn it down on warm just a second. And then we drained off our liquid, so now we're going to go ahead and start adding. Our onions is just about there, you know. So we're going to add some ketchup. We're going to use 1/2 cup of ketchup.
Okay.
Yeah, I hear people say they don't like tomatoes, but they like ketchup. Have you ever heard that, Gary?
See, I'm the opposite. I don't like ketchup, but I like tomatoes. I'm
I like
odd.
them both. I like them both, Gary.
But I don't mind it cooked in something. I just
Oh,
don't
okay.
Like putting it on.
You
Like,
just
I would
don't
not
want
put
it
that
on top, okay?
Or like French fries stuck. No, I love French fries, but I wouldn't put ketchup.
You know, ketchup is made out of those vegetables, right,
I know.
Gary?
Or fruit. It's debatable.
Yes, it is tomato. That tomato has a seed in it, so it is a fruit. But
So we have fruits, vegetables, and meats in there. Let's say that.
yes, I'm gonna let you turn me up just a tad, Gary.
Back up to 200.
Yes, now we're going to add our vinegar, and I went ahead and measured out my vinegar, and we're using 2 tablespoons, very small amount of vinegar. I'm just gonna put that up there.
Yeah, speaking of debates that you can have about food, we were talking earlier, it was the Super Bowl yesterday when we were recording this,
That's right.
and I was at a party where they were having chili.
Okay.
And it was a discussion as to whether there should be pasta in the chili or not. What's your take on that?
I like it both ways. But
Very diplomatic.
I am a big fan of pasta. So, you know, I can do both of them. You know, I can do both. But a lot of people, all right, I put it like this. I like pasta in my chili. My husband does not. So there I go, right?
Okay. So when you make the chili, do you make like a side of pasta for
I
you?
have, or I just leave it out.
Leave it out,
You know, just leave it out.
Well, yesterday they had a side of pasta, so you could add the pasta if you wanted to or not. And I thought, well, that's a clever way of doing it.
We know pasta's from our green group, right? And by the way, I've just added 2 tablespoons of my brown sugar in here. And then I'm going to add my chili powder, and we'll get back to that discussion. Let me get my chili powders in here before we forget. Gary?
Yes, we're getting a little spice in there. We got sweetness and spice.
We're going to put a half a teaspoon. Now, that's not much chili powders here. Now, you know, I like things spicy. I don't know about you, Gary, but I do like things spicy.
You do?
Yes, I could probably put some hot stuff in here, you know, with it. But just do that, and then I'm going to put my Worcestershire sauce. Now, I know everybody has a different take on this Worcestershire sauce, but again, it's only 1 1/2 teaspoons.
It adds a nice little flavor to it as well.
Yeah, and you have to watch a lot of these. Sodium contents is 80 milligrams for a teaspoon. So we get into that. We're talking about that heart health. We're going to put 1 1/2 teaspoons of that.
Yeah, sodium is something to be careful about.
Sodium is, and that's another, you know, another aspect with our heart, that we have too much sodium in our diets. Oh, excuse me, Gary. Now, can you smell it? Is it beginning to smell pretty good?
Yeah.
So we've got everything in there. We've put our chili powders, we've put a Worcestershire sauce, we've put our brown sugar and our vinegar. So we're just going to put a half a cup of water in there.
Okay.
And I'm going to let you turn me up again to about 350, Gary.
Oh, well,
we're going to be cooking.
With gas now.
We're going to cook. So then you let this, it says bring to a boil. So we want it to come to a boil. We want to get the liquid out of it. But you know, we put all of these different juices in there. That is to give it some flavor, right?
Right.
And we added the water, you know, that makes it go a little bit farther too, you know, when we're cooking it. And see, we're coming to a boil.
So we added the water so that we could turn it up and boil the water out.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, there you go. I did not invent this recipe here.
But it's probably boiling in the flavor too, you know.
It is, and that's the way that we had our brown sugar, we had our chili powders, we had all of those, and we want those flavors to all go together.
Right. Absolutely.
And you can see it is bubbling.
Looking good.
It is looking good. This is one of our older recipes that I've used over the years, and UK has a comeback a lot of times with recipes, and this is kind of one of the little comebacks. This is very good, especially if you're trying to stretch your dollar, not only with working with our heart, you know, but stretching the dollar, you know.
Right. Yes.
You might have a ground turkey, you might have ground beef, and you can make this recipe with ground beef also. But you know, last week when we were talking how cold it was at sub-zero, you know, a good hot sandwich is pretty good, right? Absolutely. And this is like a little alternative. But you know, when you're talking about just a turkey burger or a hamburger in itself, that you just have a burger, right? You put all the mayonnaise and the ketchup and so forth on. But you could take this and pair it up with some red roasted potatoes or some roasted white potatoes.
Yes.
You could pair that up with that, make some coleslaw.
That'd be good. I like that.
Yeah, you could do a coleslaw with this. Maybe you don't want the potatoes. Maybe with the coleslaw or the potatoes, or even both.
Yeah.
And then
that sounds good. Now we're talking.
Now we're talking. And you know, maybe if you like yogurt, it suggests to have a fruit yogurt parfait with it. So you know, you can make a complete meal.
Right.
For a little bit, nothing. I'm going to turn us down just a tad, Gary, while we're talking.
And that gives you the variety of all the areas that you're supposed to hit. Like, it used to be the food pyramid, but it's not the pyramid anymore, right? It's a plate or something.
Plate now. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. We could go through this. We've got our meat. We did a red roasted potato, or just some. If you don't have red potatoes, we could do some white potatoes. You know, just some potatoes. Make a little coleslaw, some yogurt or something like that with it, something to drink. You've got my plate.
Absolutely. Got it all covered.
Yes.
Sounds good. And it's healthy for you, too.
Yes. And like I said, it's only 200 calories. If we're going in there with our total fat, we've got about 9 grams of total fat. I know that it sounds a little high, but that's not bad for what we're getting here, you know. And the sodium, we did put some things with some sodium in it, but do you notice we didn't add any extra sodium, any salt, right?
Right.
So because our ketchup has salt and our Worcestershire sauce, Worcestershire, how do you pronounce it, Gary? You pronounce it a little different from me.
Everybody.
Yes, but it has some sodium in it. So this is got the sodium contents in it, so it's going to be bad. It's not bad for us.
Right.
And you can make this whole dish. It's pretty economical. You know, you could see most usually you probably have ketchup in your refrigerator. You might have some Worcestershire sauce. Might have an onion. It's some things that our brown sugar that you didn't have to go out and purchase. And probably, I'm kind of guessing here. I don't have that source in front of me. I was just thinking about my 1 pound of ground turkey was, I think, at $3.79 this morning. So, and we bought some buns. So you might could get by maybe $6 or $7 or a little bit more for a whole meal. So that's not bad, is it?
No, not at all. Not at all.
And have something hot. And you can see our liquid is just about out of it, isn't it, Gary?
And with all that water you added, it looked like it was boiling in like the grease that you would normally think you were boiling in.
Right,
but it's water. It's more healthy for you.
It is water. That's exactly right. And would you like for me to go over what we've got in here?
Absolutely,
again?
that'd be perfect.
Okay, we use 1 pound of ground turkey, and I used the 85-15 this morning. We did a teaspoon of vegetable oil just because we did not want it to stick, and then we drained it. Right. 1 medium onion chopped, and again, you go with that medium. What is your medium? Half a cup of ketchup, a half a cup of water, 2 tablespoons of vinegar, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, 1 1/2 teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, a half a teaspoon of chili powders, and we're going to use some whole wheat buns. And all you need to do is brown that ground turkey and make sure that it's not pinkish anymore, and then add your onions and kindly let those get translucent, and then just add your other ingredients as your water, your Worcestershire sauce, your brown sugar, and your vinegar, and your chili powders.
Chili powder.
So that is our dish for the day.
Fantastic. Again, that's turkey barbecue. We've been here with Juanita Hearn at the Marion County Extension Office, and you can contact the Extension Office to get a copy of that recipe, or contact us at Channel 6 Television, and we'll pass that along as well.
Okay, would you like for me to put one on the bun? Let's show the viewers. And this is 100% whole wheat. You know, we're all about doing the whole wheat.
Absolutely.
We need 3 ounces of our whole wheat every day. And we're just going, and Gary, no liquid, no fat. Nope. Just a good flavor.
Sandwich.
Yes, it's a good hearty sandwich. And I'm just going to put, it's a little hot. It's kind of wanting to burn my finger there, Gary.
Uh-oh.
Now that's a pretty good little sandwich right there. And we said we could do 1 large one, you know, a regular size, or we could do a couple of these little slider buns.
Right.
So, you know, you could pair that up with some vegetables.
Yes.
And we've got a whole hearty meal, right?
That's right. And there's enough there for about 12 of those sliders.
12 or 6 regular size. Right. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gary.
All right. This has been Gary White with Juanita Hearn at the Marion County Extension Office.